for them a bit. Luckily, Joe Crowley has been looking at the science of attacking castles for us, catapulting himself back to a medieval battle when the sight of one weapon in particular struck fear into the bravest of soldiers.
Medieval warfare was a grim and bloody business. The skill of the cavalry and swordsmen prevailed, and human life was cheap when there was a war to be won. But by the 13th century, all that changed, and battles got much more challenging.
By the Middle Ages, a nobleman's home was, well, quite literally his castle. Formidable ones were being built like this one here in Caerphilly, and they could hold out for months under siege. Therefore, attackers needed a new approach. Hey! Time to bring on the big guns.
Hey! The mighty Trebuchet. A formidable medieval siege engine capable of demolishing a castle wall. It changed the face of warfare.
Prepare to loose!
Seen in action during the Crusades, it was copied for battles nearer to home.
Loose!
Previously, sieges were often just been like blockades, and it was necessary to starve a garrison out. But the trebuchet was such an efficient and deadly weapon, it could really shorten the length of the siege and produce a devastating conclusion.
There had been smaller siege engines, but the trebuchet was a giant, measuring some 60 feet high. It could hurl 100-pound stones a distance of up to 300 feet. But that wasn't all. They could propel fire, beehives, and even dead animals.
The point about firing animal carcasses is if they are decaying, they are land inside, they splatter everywhere, and you can have the potential of spreading disease amongst the garrison. And that was often more fatal than any other form of attack in the Middle Ages. They also had a form of chemical warfare. Sometimes they would use lime, and lime actually burns when it touches the skin, so it's a horrible effect and a very demoralising one.
So how exactly did they work?
What they would have done, they've actually built them off-site. They would have built them in what we call flat pack, and this is what we're trying to demonstrate today, is that it will be in a flat pack format.
You're telling me that flat pack was once at the centre of military hardware?
Indeed it was when you look at the medieval war machine.
Malcolm Beecham from the Company of Chivalry is an expert on medieval life. He's created a model of a trebuchet.
The most important thing with a medieval siege weapon is the counterbalance box. When you pull the arm down, you got the counterbalance.
And when the huge weight of the counterbalance drops, the arm is released with powerful force.
Look at that!
And there we have it.
That was perfect.
The trebuchet could strike terror into the hearts of those hiding within castle walls. In 1304, Edward I took a trebuchet to besiege Stirling Castle. When the Scots saw it, they were so terrified, they wanted to surrender.
He was so proud of his siege engine called Warwolf that when he had it shipped up from the south and assembled, he wouldn't accept a surrender and insisted on seeing it used to batter down the castle.
But the trebuchet had another important influence. As they got more accurate and lethal, castles like Caerphilly needed to raise their game to keep the enemy out.
One of the issues of the trebuchet is that because it was so good at knocking down walls, you get the development of concentric castles. In other words, you have one wall inside another, such as at the castle of Caerphilly. And this means that if attackers did break into one area of the castle, they then were confronted by another.
Well, there's only one thing for it. I can't leave without experiencing the mighty power of the trebuchet. Time for battle. And, of course, the first rule in medieval warfare: always dress the part.
And heave!
This is really hard work. The counterbalance weighs a huge 2.5 tons.
Heave! Heave!
Imagine doing this with arrows raining down on you.
Clear the engine!
It's on!
Okay, here we go, the moment I've been waiting for.
Prepare to loose! Loose!
Good work, lads. Next castle then?
Indeed.
Yeah. Go on then.
Joe Crowley there, reporting from the very beautiful Caerphilly Castle.
I think they realised it actually ended up in the water. Didn't do any damage at all.
No,
They're getting very excited about that.
Just as well, though.
Yeah. So, Jeremy, tomorrow you're at a castle, a palace. In fact, Buckingham Palace. What's going on there exactly?